Let's talk about the day the nest quieted. The morning after we returned from taking our youngest to college, I was exhausted. No one told me how much work would go into getting the items needed ready. Nobody told me how much energy I would use loading up, driving, and then ending up unpacking all at one time. There were family meals and meetings to learn about the college as well. So even though we were settling in, we had a schedule. The whole first week after we got home, I was tired. I was probably a mix of emotional tiredness and physical tiredness. At this point, we've been parenting for 35 years. Our house was a bit of a mess from the packing process and the bringing home of things that didn't fit in the dorm room. His room was not spotless at home, but his bed was made. Some of those life training lessons stuck with him. There were boxes, there were bags, there were clothes and shoes, and there were empty places too. Most of his clothes and shoes were with him at college. His high school book bag was still on the floor of his bedroom. His game chair and system were just as he left them. There was change and there was sameness. Over the course of the summer, I had thoughts of grandeur on what I was going to do with this room once he moved to college. In reality, I did some cleaning. I hung up some extra jackets in his closet. I reorganized a cabinet in his room that I used. And I left some staging items in there to sort and take to my storage facility at some point for my real estate business. The silence pressed in on me. For more than 30 years, my days had been filled with homeschooling and launching children into adulthood. The last 7 years were spent with a school calendar and sports for my youngest two. We had a great journey of learning together. We had more time together than most families get, and I'm thankful for that. But there's the loss of being busy, the noise, the constant doing of things. I thought I'd be free. That's what people said, after all. Just wait till the nest is empty. You'll have so much more time for yourself. But standing in that doorway, what I felt wasn't freedom. It was something closer to being unmoored, like a boat drifting without an anchor. When you spend decades raising children, your life develops a rhythm. Wake up, eat, school, juggle work, get dinner on the table, cheer from the bleachers. There's comfort in that cadence, even when it's exhausting. It tells you who you are. You have a place, and you don't have to look for things to fill up your calendar. The things come to you and fill your calendar up for you. Then one day it stops. The rhythm breaks. Suddenly, you're no longer the conductor of a family orchestra. You're the audience, watching from the seats. I spent an afternoon in his room. I sorted things. I looked at pictures. I made piles of things to share with others. I enjoyed my thoughts and memories as I went through many years of stuff. That first week, I busied myself with work. Real estate is a business that can occupy as many days and an hour as you want to give it. You have to set boundaries and create those white spaces on your calendar. Or one day you'll look up and realize you've not had a day or even an afternoon off in months. I wasn't prepared for how much I would miss the noise. I used to long for quiet, just an hour without someone yelling or screaming. But the quiet came after they were gone, and it wasn't restful. It was raw. What I eventually realized is that the ache of an empty nest isn't just about missing your children. It's about losing a version of yourself. For years, I was the hub of a wheel, the one who kept everyone spinning in the right direction. Without that role, I wasn't sure who I was supposed to be. I don't think I'm alone in this. Most of us who have raised children have come to this point, though we rarely talk about it. We celebrate graduations, we do going away parties, we post proud photos on social media. But few of us will admit that afterward, when the last box is unpacked in their dorm room or apartment, we sit in our cars and we cry. We tell our children we've given them wings, but no one tells us how to keep flying after they've gone. That's the unspoken part of parenthood. You don't just launch them, You have to relaunch yourself. The turning point for me came one morning. Instead of lingering in the quiet, I laced up my sneakers and I went for a walk. The sun was just cresting over the trees and the air carried the crisp bite of autumn. As I walked, I noticed things I'd overlooked in all the years of rushing. The way the leaves curled at their edges, the neighbor's roses spilling over the fence, the sound of my own breath. It had been 3 years since my knee replacement surgery. I had lost my drive for going outside for a run or even a walk. It struck me then, this was a beginning, not an ending. My children had stepped into adulthood, yes, but I had too, in a way. I had the chance to rediscover life outside of their schedules. That morning, I came home and pulled out a notebook. I wrote down 3 things I wanted to do just for me. One of them was to write another book. Another was to plan a weekend trip with my husband and read that stack of novels sitting on my nightstand table. There weren't any monumental goals, but they were mine. And for the first time in months, I felt something stir inside of me, anticipation. Here's what I've learned in the years since that quiet morning. The nest may be empty, but the heart does not. Love doesn't diminish with distance, it simply stretches. My children will still call with questions, and they'll need me in different ways. Our relationship has shifted. We've gone from authority to companionship, from manager to consultant. It's a great day when I've had the opportunity to talk to all 6 of my children on the same day. Those are rare days. More often, I talk to 2 or 3 of them on the same day. But more than that, I've learned that the empty space they left behind isn't a void. It's a canvas. It's a chance to paint new colors into my life, to rediscover passion, to breathe. The day the nest quieted was the day I learned this truth. Parenthood is not about holding on. It's about becoming. And just because my children are grown doesn't mean my story is over. In fact, it might just be the beginning.